Hey guys, how's it going? Stoud Man coming back at you again, and today I'm going to talk to you about The Fly. And no, not just David Cronenberg's The Fly, but, the original The Fly, starring Vincent Price from back in the 50s, I believe. It's 1959, 1960, something like that. Somewhere around there. It came out back in the age of the B movie, and there's nothing wrong with that because it's definitely influenced by that. But, like with the invasion of the Body Snatchers, I noticed a lot of influence from noir films. In particular, in that movie, you see a flashback moment, which is something that happens in noir movies. And of course, there are even some moments of like cinematography and whatnot that are kind of influenced by noir, if you ask me. And they're trying to solve a murder, right? It's like a murder mystery. Well, that sounds like a noir to me. I mean, what are you gonna do? That is definitely influenced by noir films. The Fly is definitely influenced by noir films. But then when you get to the creature effects, when you get to the practical effects of the mask and all that stuff, clearly it's also influenced by the B genre. It's influenced by the monster movies that were coming out at the time. It is itself a monster movie. So I really liked it, actually. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did, but it's quite good. If I saw it on Blu-ray for a fairly decent price, I would probably pick it up because, well, it's worth having in my collection, quite frankly. I did not see The Fly 2. I believe there's a Fly 2 that came after that original Fly. And I think there's a Fly 2 that came after the Cronenberg Fly as well. Have not seen either of those. Probably should at some point, but whatever. Now, that being said, as much as I liked the movie, I felt like there was some overt sexism in there. Yes, there was sexism again. There you go. Fucking hell. Why were we so stupid back then? I mean, there's a scene where even the young kid is like, you know how women are. I'm just like, oh, grown. Even if you're not a feminist, even if you are tired of the SJW or PC bullshit that happens, even you have to admit that is a cringy fucking statement for a 5-year-old kid to be making. Other than that, it was a pretty damn good movie. I would say it's a solid 6.5 out of 10. If you want to watch it, it's on Netflix right now. So just go to Netflix and watch it for free right there. No problemo. It's also available on Blu-ray, and I think the Blu-ray is fairly cheap. And then there's another set, I think, on DVD that has both The Fly and The Fly 2. And I was actually thinking of getting that at one point because the packaging on that one is pretty cool. But I hadn't seen the movie, didn't know what I thought of it, what I would think of it, so I passed up on it. And I probably should not have passed up on it because it's a pretty good movie. The first one, at least, is a pretty damn good movie. You can't go wrong with Vincent Price. He's always good, even if he doesn't play the main character. In this role, I guess he's kind of like the gumshoe. He's not necessarily a gumshoe, but he is playing the role of the detective trying to solve the murder, per se. And yeah, he eventually ends up getting the answer that he was looking for. Sadly. But anyways, when it comes to the remake of The Fly, starring Jeff Goldblum and directed by David Cronenberg, you can tell that Cronenberg, he didn't really give a shit about the original movie. I mean, he might have liked the original movie. He might not have had a problem with the original movie. But the only influence from the original movie that you see in this is the same concept of the pods, the teleportation pods. He even changes the name of them, which I can understand because the disintegrator reintegrator, or whatever the fuck he called it in the first movie, is just, that's a stupid fucking name. But if you want to talk about a movie that is a remake of a classic horror movie like this, and you want to talk about like how they chose to remake it, it's probably closer to Wolf than it actually is to The Fly. Yes, they retain a lot of the same elements that you saw in the original movie, but they also are trying to tell a more modern version of the story with a more modern character. And you got more modern special effects in there. It's a body horror movie. It's a fucking disturbing, creepy, disgusting fucking movie. And I mean, there is some really disgusting, creepy, kind of shit in this movie that even to this day, it looks so good and so real and just kind of makes you cringe, you know? Instead of a little kid making you cringe with some sexist statements, you've got a fly puking, or a human fly puking on somebody's hand and turning it into a fucking stump. Yeah, that's pretty creepy fucking stuff. Even to this day, this movie is still fucking creepy and it makes your fucking stomach turn, makes you feel ill and queasy. As it should. A proper sci-fi horror movie should definitely give you the chills. It should definitely give you the kind of approach. This almost feels like an alien kind of approach to the tale of the fly. But I mean, it's got that feel of like the Rick Baker kind of practical effects in there. And you got music by Howard Shore. It's a pretty damn good score. Jeff Goldblum does a fucking fantastic job in the role. This movie never gets old. I don't feel like it ever gets old, even though the modern telling of this story is not so modern anymore. If you even slightly remember what the 80s were like, then this can still be pretty impactful. It's got that same kind of a fucking no hope for the future feel that RoboCop has. And David Cronenberg was just really good at that kind of a feel to a movie. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's what happens when you ask somebody like him to do a remake of a classic monster movie from the 50s or 60s or whatever. Either way, I really enjoyed it. I think that this is something that everybody should have in their collection. And quite frankly, The Fly, the original one, is probably also worth having in your collection. I have not seen either of these sequels, if there are two sequels to The Fly. I've never seen them. So please let me know in the comments if you like those movies at all, if they are worth watching. And on your recommendation, if anybody says I should check them out, I will check them out. But until then, I'm just going to stick with the original Fly and with this one. I'm sure at some point I'll pick up the original Fly, but for now, I've just got this one. You can't go wrong with the Cronenberg classic, and this one actually includes commentary from David Cronenberg. So, pretty good release, and it's still fairly cheap out there to get this whenever you can find it. So, yeah, highly recommend it. Also includes deleted and extended scenes, and yeah, just a boatload of special features as you can see there. So, highly recommend picking that one up and watching it for Halloween this year if you want to watch something that is a little bit on the creepier side. So yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later. Peace.